Hello and welcome to the Sacred Gates Ascension podcast. My name is Illura. Today's video is just a quick video, if I can keep it short, is on the mental substance, the mind field. And if you've been watching any of the other videos that I've been doing, the mental field's center of gravity is up high. It's up in the upper Dantian area. It's where the third eye and the crown chakra and beyond the higher bodies is resonating. And it's up near the brain, where we consider the mind to be. But of course, location is irrelevant, really, as the mind field can be felt and put in anything. Just as you can place your mind field into the future, you can place your mind field into the past. It can be in the present. It can be in all places because it is the mind. Now, the mind, we know it to be a tool. Yeah, we know it to be a very powerful tool, and some people say it's like your worst enemy or your best friend, depending on how emotionally stable you are, how grounded you are. A lot of it's to do really with the emotions, the emotional body, and that's why stabilizing this area here, the middle dantian, is so important when you're living life, when you're a human being, whether you're spiritual, you consider yourself spiritual or not. Stabilizing your emotional body, even if it's just to like 51%, it's better than 49% or below, just getting more of that stability. And the mental substance, or the mind field, or consciousness, awareness, the mind, mental substance is what we could call the binding agent. So binding being what causes things to get blocked, constricted, sticky, congested, condensed, restricted, restrained, I think I said blocked, held back, repressed. And these things, what would be emotions and the physical body, the mind will do that to the physical body, it'll do that to the emotions, because it is a binding agent. The mind field is a binding agent. Equally, on the flip side of it being an agent that's able to bind things in, it is also able to do the unbinding as well. And so what I want, let's just do a little activity now. So I want you just to connect to your body, your physical body. So of course you're also feeling your mind, your emotions as well. And just find a place that doesn't feel calm in your body, that feels restricted and tense. You found that area. You might have a billion places. You might have one that you've really noticed lately, or one that's standing out right now. So just find a place that's not calm. And so what is there? It's not calm, it's constricted. You're going to feel, your mind's been able to locate that because it's constricted. So it actually stands out. And so I know that a singing teacher that I have worked with before was pointing out to me that these blockages that we have as a singer are really our best friends, because those blockages give us the opportunity. It's like a signpost, like, hey, like a highlighter or a flashing light saying, hey, over here there's an opportunity for you to go on your path, for you to put into practice what you know as a singer. And it's absolutely relevant here as a practitioner, whether it's Tai Chi, push hands, internal martial arts, Reiki. I always go through these different paths that you may be on yourself to make it relevant for you, or Qigong, or just plain meditation. We always are experiencing tension, and tension really is not particularly a natural state. It requires so much energy, and it drains us so much to hold tension, whereas a state of unconstriction, like deep relaxation, is very natural. It's very, that's why it feels so good when we do feel unconstricted. When we feel unconstricted in our body, in our mind, in our emotions, we always have good memories associated with those times, and we crave those times. And I think that it's a good pleasure to want to crave, because it is actually very healthy. Ultimately, it feels better, it's nourishing. And so that constriction that you're feeling, whether you're a singer or a practitioner, is an opportunity, as I said, to actually experience unconstriction. Without the constriction, we wouldn't know where, we'd be blind. So although we might have an aversion to feeling tension, especially when you start to put your mind field into different areas of your body, you start to recognize the feeling of the mind field more clearly, and you also start to notice that the mind field, or the substance of mind, feels different in different areas of your body. And what this does is it starts to bring in more consciousness, because it's the mind. Through your body, you start to become a lot more aware of your body. And actually, sometimes part of that journey of increased awareness is to actually feel more tension. You feel more pain. You realize, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that my quads are actually really tight. They're actually even painful. Or I didn't realize that my neck from using my smartphone or a computer actually hurts. So sometimes often with this increased awareness comes more awareness of also symptoms or sensations that don't feel good. And so we have an increase in these things. But again, try to stay positive about becoming more aware of pains and attention areas, because it is very positive, as this singing teacher informed me, and I agree, it's a great opportunity. So feel that area there that doesn't feel calm, and just become aware that it is constricted, which is why it doesn't feel calm. Yeah. And I want you just to place your awareness there very softly in that area of your body that's constricted. Just very softly place your awareness there. You're just resting it there, kind of like the way you would just rest a finger on, a baby's cheek, very soft, yeah? Or the way you would just place your hand very softly in someone else's hand, very softly. Placing your awareness there. Now just relax your face. And just notice, just even from this little moment, can you feel more space in that area, more spaciousness there? That area that didn't feel calm, that area where your mind substance is currently, does it feel lighter now? Even if it's just a very small increase, an incremental increase in lightness, spaciousness, expansion, relaxation, nourishment, a feeling of goodness, yeah? So just become aware there of more spaciousness there. And even though you're not trying to get rid of that constriction, did you notice that just by placing your mind there, the substance of the mind, although it's a binding agent, yes, it can create more tension very easily, it can equally be the very agent that dissolves all bindings. Yeah. So you're then now what you just did was, wherever you were in your body, you used your mind field to dissolve physical tension. And you also affected your emotional body or your emotional field, because you were releasing that tension, and you altered your state of mind. You altered your body, and you altered and released emotion as well. Yeah. And so that's a very, very simple, it's so simple, isn't it? And you may have only noticed an incremental change, or you may have actually noticed that there was quite a lot of space that opened up in that area of your body, and your mind had more space. And because when we get tense, we get constricted, we get smaller, there's less room to move, everything becomes very constricted. Agitation occurs, irritation occurs, impatience occurs, and we kind of like bounce our mind field. We just bounce off our mind field that just keeps whacking us like a tennis racket, whack, whack. But what happens is, the more you practice this very, very simple technique, where you change, you alter your state of consciousness, what happens is that tennis racket, if it's like the mind coming back to constrict, relax, constrict, relax, constrict, relax, constrict, relax, constrict, the more you relax it, the more familiar you become with this whole practice we just did, the longer it takes for your mind to come back. And as your mind comes back, as it does, as a constriction, because you know the mind is continually kind of bringing us back to states of tension and constriction. As the mind comes back, it enters into that space you've created, which is nourishing and open and soft. And it enters into that nourishing state. And your goal can be to keep open and soft, yeah? And it comes back through into that softness. And of course, it'll all go through that constricting again and again. And as it comes back, you receive it into that softness. Yeah, into that softness again and again. And of course, the mind will constrict again, and you allow it to soften again and be received into that softness. So you're actually training yourself to know how to be in that state, yeah, and to allow yourself to open up to that softness and that lightness, and to get familiar and used to that feeling of nourishment. Yeah, you're retraining the mind, and the more you do it, like with anything, whether it's an internal process such as this, or whether it's, learning how to ride a motorbike, whatever it is, you're getting familiar, and you will be able to do that more and more. Yeah, and so the more you practice this in your solo, private, formal practice, and the more you do it out and about when you're talking to your kids, or you're listening to the news on the TV and you're getting tense, or you're driving your car, whatever it is that you're doing, the more terrain you can practice on, like a vehicle, I call it an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle, ATV, the more you'll be able to bring it into your life completely. So it's not just something that you practice behind closed doors in your solo, private, formal training, but you're actually practicing it everywhere. So it's like when you learn a language. You learn your language in the classroom with your classmates, you practice at home with your online teacher or with your family, but ultimately the greatest level of learning you get, the greatest feedback and potential for growth with that language is to go out into the world and practice it with strangers in odd, random situations. Yeah, it's like driving a car. You're driving around the car park all the time, and eventually you've got to get on the road and put the wheels to the turf and really give it a try out in the real world. So any spiritual practice you're doing, in order to integrate it fully into your life, which is ultimately where the greatest nourishment comes, because none of us are monks living in a mountaintop somewhere in a shroud, a beautiful temple. We're in this I was going to say shithole, but it's not just a shithole, but life is tough, and it is really important to integrate these practices into our bodies, so that no matter where we are, we're like an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle that can handle all the different aspects of reality. Yeah, and that just allows us to get very good at what we do, and that's awesome, because then we feel better. Okay, thanks guys for tuning in. Try that out whenever you need to. Find that place that's not calm. Observe the constriction. Yeah, put your bare awareness to that tension, and observe. Just simply pay attention. Focus on the feeling of lightness, softness, spaciousness, expansion. Pay attention only to that. Just soften. Yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.